Hello, you're watching CVR News English. This is Havila Kuttapalli. Welcome to World Bulletin. Well, moving to the details, US President Donald Trump revealed he would speak to Russian President Putin as part of his efforts to bring an end to the ongoing war in Ukraine. The announcement came as Trump was flying from Florida to Washington on Air Force. The conversation is expected to focus on diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict, with Trump continuing to push for a negotiated peace. The move underscores his approach to international relations and his desire to make a more direct role in addressing global security challenges.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It's good. It's been a good time. And we learned a lot. We're doing pretty well, I think, with Russia. And we'll see if we have something to announce maybe by Tuesday. I'll be speaking to President Putin on Tuesday. And a lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think we have a very good chance.
What sort of concessions will you be seeking to have Putin make to get a deal done?
Well, I think we'll, be talking about land. It's a lot of land. It's a lot different than it was before the war, as you know. And we'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about power plants. Because that's up, it's a big question. But I think we have a lot of it already discussed very much by both sides.
You'll ask him.
Ukraine and Russia.
You'll ask him.
We're already talking about that, dividing up certain assets. Yeah, and they.
Congratulations on the golf game, sir.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It's good. It's been a good time, and we learned a lot. We're doing pretty well, I think, with Russia. And we'll see if we have some.
In a historic mission, SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft successfully opened a hatch to the International Space Station well to rescue astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams, who has been stranded on the station since June. The two astronauts have been awaiting a return trip to Earth after the Boeing Starliner spacecraft, initially scheduled for the mission, encountered population issues. After 9 months in space, Wilmore and Williams are finally set to return home, marking a significant achievement for SpaceX and Crew spaceflight. Ukrainian President Zelensky urged for active pressure on Russia to bring an end to the ongoing war during a 2-hour virtual meeting hosted by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Zelensky emphasized the need for continued international support and diplomatic efforts to stop Russia's aggression against Ukraine. While the meeting reflects the growing global push for a resolution to the conflict, with key leaders seeking to intensify efforts to hold Russia accountable and secure peace.
Destruction. To stop this, active pressure is needed, not just talks, pressure on Russia. Strong measures are needed to take even the first steps toward ending the war. This includes sanctions. Sanctions against Russia must not only be maintained but continuously strengthened. And I ask you to take these steps and to work with your partners on this. Second, we must define a clear position on security guarantees. Security is the key to making peace reliable and lasting. We need to keep working on the contingents that will form the foundation of Europe's future armed forces. Peace will be more reliable with the European contingents on the ground and the American side as a backstop. There must be clear commitments on how this will function. The same goes for investments in defense production, both in Ukraine, where it's now growing the fastest, and in your countries. Europe needs its own arsenals and the capability to produce the most advanced fighting and destruction. To stop this, active pressure is needed, not just talks, pressure on Russia. Strong measures are needed to take even the first steps toward ending the war. This includes sanctions. Sanctions against Russia must not.
Sudanese authorities announced that several bodies have been discovered at the bottom of a well in the capital, Khartoum, just days after the military cleared the area of notorious paramilitary group, and the discovery has raised alarm and sparked investigations as authorities work to determine the identities of the victims and the circumstances surrounding their deaths. The incident highlights ongoing tensions and violence in the region as Sudan continues to grapple with instability and conflict.
وجدنا داخل هذه البئر شخصيات مختلفة اللي هو إناث وذكور كبار وصغار.
شايفين هذه؟ نحن كانوا بيقتلوها جنبنا، خلوها يومين ثلاثة هنا الدعم السريع، يومين ثلاثة شفتوا؟ والبير ده شهدت ما شهدت، ونحن شفنا ما شفنا. والحمد لله والله العظيم استلبنا ودقونا وضربونا وتعذبنا، ونقول حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل على الدعم السريع.
وجدنا داخل هذه البئر شخصيات مختلفة اللي هو إناث وذكور كبار وصغار.
شايفين هذه؟ نحن كانوا بيقتلوها جنبنا، خلوها يومين ثلاثة هنا الدعم السريع، يومين ثلاثة شفتوا؟ والبير ده شهدت ما شهدت، ونحن شفنا ما شفنا. والحمد لله والله العظيم استلبنا ودقونا وضربونا وتعذبنا، ونقول حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل على الدعم السريع.
A devastating fire tore through the Pulse nightclub in Konkani, North Macedonia, claiming the lives of 51 people and leaving more than 100 others injured. The blaze erupted while over 1,000 revelers, mostly young fans, were attending a concert with the popular hip-hop duo DNK. Firefighters and emergency services rushed to the scene to contain the flames and provide aid, and the tragic incident has shocked the nation, and authorities are investigating the cause of the fire. Well, North Macedonian Interior Minister Panche Toshwaski confirmed that several persons had been detained in relation to a devastating nightclub fire in the eastern town of Kokni, which killed 51 people early that morning, and the fire, which occurred in a crowded venue, has prompted a criminal investigation and authorities are working to determine the cause of the blaze. The tragic incident has left the nation in mourning, with officials pledging to hold those responsible accountable for the disaster.
Вече е приведено лица во врска со предметниот настан. Сакам да уверам македонската јавност дека во овој случај ќе се утврди одговорност точно со име и презиме. Нема да биде како...
Колку лица приведовте и дали се од дискотеката лица?
Во молам, имајте разбирање. Во овој момент мислам дека најбитно што е да ги утврдиме сите факти и докази кои што ни се потребни за да може сите процесни действија да бидат превземени соодветно. Да изразиме сочувство спрема фамилиите на загинатите и да бидеме смирени во насока на превземање на сите чекори за вакво нешто никогаш да не се повтори. Вече е приведено лица во врска со предметниот настан. Сакам да уверам македонската јавност дека во овој случај ќе се утврди одговорност точно со име и презиме. Нема да биде како...
Колку лица приведовте и дали се од дискотеката лица?
Во молам, имајте разбирање. Во овој момент мислам дека најбитно што е да ги утврдиме сите факти и докази кои што ни се потребни за да може сите процесни действија да бидат превземени соодветно. Да изразиме сочувство спрема фамилиите на загинатите и да бидеме смирени во насока на превземање на сите чекори за вакво нешто никогаш да не се повтори. Вече е приведено лица во врска.
Ukrainian authorities reported significant destruction in Kherson, southern Ukraine, following Russian shelling late Thursday. Residential buildings and vital civil infrastructure were heavily damaged, and the attack resulted in the death of one man and left 3 others injured after a bomb struck the central district of the city. The assault on Kherson adds to the growing toll of civilian casualties and infrastructure damage in the ongoing conflict, and Ukrainian officials have condemned the attack, highlighting the continued targeting of civilian areas.
Ось вікон немає, тут теж в кухні вікон немає, нічого немає.
Ви де знаходились, покажіть?
І я вам ось вікно, ось, бачите? Ось перше. Ось. Я його одіялами закрила. Одіялами закрила. І воно на мене посипалось, звісно, але пізніше. Ну, спочатку вилетіли ці, господи, двері впали на мене.
Ви не постраждали, може вам швидко?
Ні, в мене нічого. Там виходить, що мене половину було засілено.
Угу.
Вам зараз є де переночувати? Давайте переселимо вас.
Та ні, не треба. У мене там є. Я
Точно є?
Да. Ні, не треба поки.
Давай попробуємо. Ну, тут можна перелізти, але зараз...
Ви вдома були, коли прилетіло?
Дома.
Скільки чули вибухів, кажіть?
А?
Скільки чули вибухів?
Ой. Вибухів тут було 2 или 3, потом хорошее. Вот это что тут подорвало дом, это что волной.
Ось вікон немає, тут теж в кухні вікон немає, нічого немає.
Ви де знаходились, покажіть.
Я вам ось вікно, ось, бачите? Ось перше. Ось. Я його одіялами закрила. Одіялами закрила. І воно на мене.
Tens of thousands of protesters flooded the streets of Belgrade, Serbia's capital, demanding accountability for state corruption and negligence under President Aleksandar Vučić, and the protesters were sparked by the tragic collapse of a railway station roof last year, which resulted in the deaths of 15 people. Demonstrators criticized the government for its failure to ensure the public safety and called for urgent reforms to address the corruption within the state. The mass rally marks a significant display of public discontent with the administration's handling of the incident.
Tens of thousands of protesters descended on Serbia's capital, Belgrade, on Saturday in one of the largest rallies in decades. The demonstrators, including students and workers, faced riot police and supporters of President Aleksandar Vučić. Many protesters are demanding the release of documents about last year's railway station disaster, when a roof collapsed and killed 15 people in the city of Novi Sad. This protester wants accountability.
I believe that after this, people will have a better awareness of what's going on in the country, and I'm hoping we will be able to reach out to the people, that all will be good, and that we will return to normalcy. We are waiting for the authorities to be held accountable for what happened in Novi Sad, as we believe it is all about the irresponsibility of the state bodies.
The railway disaster triggered accusations of widespread corruption and negligence in the government, despite prosecutors having charged 13 people and the government announcing an anti-corruption campaign. Months of protests have been largely peaceful, but police said they apprehended 13 people in incidents overnight and early on Saturday. Tens of thousands of protesters descended on Serbia's capital, Belgrade, on Saturday in one of the largest rallies in decades. The demonstrators, including students and workers, faced riot police and supporters of President Aleksandar Vučić. Many protesters are demanding the release of documents about last year's railway station disaster, when a roof collapsed and killed 15 people in the city of Novi Sad. This protester wants accountability.
I believe that after this, people will have a better awareness of what's going on in the country, and I'm hoping we will be able to reach out to the people, that all will be good, and that we will return to normalcy. We are waiting for the authorities to be held accountable for what happened in Novi Sad, as we believe it is all about the irresponsibility of the state bodies.
The railway disaster triggered accusations of widespread corruption and negligence in the government, despite prosecutors having charged 13 people and the government announcing an anti-corruption campaign. Months of protests have been largely peaceful, but police said they apprehended 13 people in incidents overnight and early on Saturday. Tens of thousands of protesters descended on Serbia's capital, Belgrade, on Saturday in one of the largest rallies in decades. The demonstrators, including students and workers, faced riot.
At the age of 15, Ermias Haile discovered his passion of the bejina, one of the Ethiopia's oldest and most revered instruments. His deep connection to the instrument, which he describes as an addiction, led him to establish the Iman Begna School, and this school not only teaches young musicians but also regularly visits a nursing home to play and form of therapeutic music. Through his love for the beginner, Haile has found a unique way to bridge generations using music to bring comfort and healing to the elderly.
ወደ አምላክ መቅረቢያ ስለሆነ የነፍስ መድኃኒት ብዬ በቀልጸው ደስ ይለኛል። በቀል ወደ አምላክ መቅረቢያ ስለሆነ የነፍስ መድኃኒት ብዬ በገልጸው ደስ ይለኛል። በቃ
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration transferred hundreds of immigrants to El Salvador under the 18th century wartime declaration despite a federal judge's order temporarily blocking the deportations, and the judge's ruling came too late to prevent the flights as they were already in the air by the time and the order was issued. The deportations, which were part of administration's efforts to target individuals linked to gang violence, have sparked legal challenges and controversy regarding the legality and the humanitarian impact. Victoria brought a small bourbon producer.
With American whiskey now a tariff target, many U.S. bourbon distilleries are left wondering if they can afford to expand internationally.
The whole Canadian growth strategy is now on pause.
Victor Yarbrough is the co-founder of Bro Brothers Distillery, Kentucky's first black-owned.
Putin's plans to expand sales in Canada on hold due to the ongoing tariff war initiated by the Trump administration. Yarbrough, who has been in discussions to grow his brand in the Canadian market, expressed frustration, stating that
off the shelves entirely in support of their country amid President Donald Trump's ongoing threat of tariffs.
Part of the expansion is being able to go into the Canadian market, which is a huge market. You know, there are neighbors, there are brothers, and you know, this is something that we've kind of been working on behind the scenes.
Distilleries are reeling after the European Union proposed a 50% tariff on American whiskey in retaliation of Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. U.S. distillery owners are watching closely as U.S. tariffs and counter tariffs are still being poured out. With American whiskey now a tariff target, many U.S. bourbon distilleries are left wondering if they can afford to expand internationally.
The whole Canadian growth strategy is now on pause.
Victor Yarbrough is the co-founder of Bro Brothers Distillery, Kentucky's first black-owned distillery. It operates in Louisville, known to many as Bourbon City or the Wall Street of whiskey. But now, plans for an expansion beyond Bourbon City into Canada have been put on hold. That's because many liquor stores and bars in Canada have pulled American whiskey off the shelves entirely in support of their country amid President Donald Trump's ongoing threat of tariffs.
The Trump administration is exploring the possibility of imposing travel restrictions on citizens from dozens of countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Cuba, and North Korea, as part of new travel ban. The proposed restrictions are seen as a continuation of the administration's efforts to limit immigration and tighten national security measures, and if implemented, the ban would affect individuals from countries with the perceived security risk, but it has sparked controversy and raised concerns about its impact on the diplomatic relations and global mobility.
Widespread demonstrations erupted when President Donald Trump, in his first term, issued a travel ban for 7 majority Muslim countries. And now, the Trump administration is considering a new travel ban. That's according to sources familiar with the matter and an internal memo seen by Reuters, which shows 41 countries divided into 3 separate groups. The first group of 10 countries, including citizens from Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Cuba, and North Korea, would be set for a full visa suspension. The second group of 5 countries, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, and South Sudan, would face partial visa suspensions. The third group, which includes Belarus and Pakistan, would be considered for a partial visa suspension too, if, according to the memo, their governments, quote, do not make efforts to address deficiencies within 60 days. A U.S. official told Reuters there could be changes on the list and that it was yet to be approved by the administration. When Trump took office on January 20th, he issued an executive order requiring intensified security vetting of any foreigners seeking U.S. entry. That order directed several cabinet members to submit by March 21st a list of countries from which travel should be partly or fully suspended. The State Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Reuters. Widespread demonstrations erupted when President Donald Trump, in his first term, issued a travel ban for 7 majority Muslim countries. And now, the Trump administration is considering a new travel ban. That's according to sources familiar with them.
Well, that's all for now. Keep watching CVR News English. This is Havila Kuttapalli. Have a good day.